Hey everybody, welcome back to Spoon FPV. So I just kind of wanted to show you something interesting for a different use of Blackbox than most people. So I use it for more than just tuning. I had a quad and I had a little bit of vibration issue and I wanted to see what axis it was, so I was collecting some data and I looked through it, and without the Blackbox I would have never noticed this. So if you look at the section that I just went to here, you can see that this motor goes to full, and a lot of times you'll see that happen and it means that the motor has actually shut down, but this quad was actually flying relatively normally. So what that's telling me is that that motor is outputting less thrust than the rest of the motor, so it has to work harder to put out the same amount of thrust as the other motors. And in just one instance or whatever, that's not really enough to be to make statistical significance, but looking at it's, hey, in this case too, and you can see that it kind of stays full throughout the whole full throttle punch, and then I can go to other examples here in the logging, and what this is down here is you can actually see that's the throttle level if you're not familiar with Blackbox. So these are my full throttle sections, which is what I'm kind of looking at, and here again I have full throttled and it just stays full, which that motor has to work a lot harder to keep up with the other motors, is what that's telling me. So kind of an interesting thing that you can use this for is for testing different motors against each other dynamically, or testing different props against each other dynamically. So you can throw on a different set of props on your quad and see which motor is working hardest to keep it in the air. So right now, we're in this freeze frame, which isn't enough to make a complete analysis, that this motor is working the hardest, and then these two motors are working less hard, and this motor is working a little bit harder. And that's so generally when you're flying in forward flight, you'll see the back motors working a little harder than the front motors. But if you do a level punch out, you can kind of compare your motors against each other, or you can compare a set of props against each other, and it's like a dynamic test. But in this case, I have found out that this motor, which felt to be performing okay, my quad was a little slower, is not. So I have to replace that motor, and without Blackbox I would have never found that out. So hey, for all of those that are new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks for tuning in, and hope you found this useful. So thanks everybody.